especially in this country. All right, I want to get to that story and, of course, the story about that couple that's entered Queensland, and you've got New South Wales and Queensland towns shut down now. Senator Holly Hughes, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chris.
Now, solar, I want to start with you first on that. It sounds great, but as I made the point, on a couple of fronts, we see constant evidence of the fact that the technology has a way to go.
Yeah, but look, if I can just reinforce the point, Chris, the Morrison government has no intention of closing down coal mines, and we've just announced an investment of over $600 million in the Kurri Kurri gas project. So we absolutely understand the important role that coal and gas play in ensuring affordable and reliable baseload power. We know Tomago smelter up in the Hunter went off for a couple of hours not that long ago, over a couple of days, to ensure Sydney could keep its lights on. Now, for those that don't understand, when a smelter is offline for an extended period of time, that's it. You can't turn it back on. So we know where we have that heavy industry, we need reliable base load power. And renewables just aren't anywhere near that at this stage. That said, we've got around 1 in 4 houses or 1 in 5 houses now have solar panels on their roofs. But I think what we'll find as battery power becomes more viable, more efficient and more reliable, that will be the future of renewables. But without that battery storage, we are going to continue to need coal, we are going to continue to need gas, and it's absolutely irresponsible to suggest otherwise. OK,
Holly, stay right there. We're just getting pictures through right now from Oxfordshire in England, where the Prime Minister has just touched down ahead of this weekend's G7 meeting. That plane only touched down a few minutes ago, so we'll see the Prime Minister very, very shortly. He is expected to also speak with Australian media, and no doubt there's waiting media there as well, and he may make a statement. We'll get back to that in just a second. Holly, this couple that made their way into Queensland during that lockdown in Victoria, what people don't understand is that the towns of Moree and Dubbo and Narrandera and Forbes, they are virtually locked down. Give us an example of what's happened in Moree, for instance.
Well, they're just desolate as people are lining up to get tested at the moment. But my heart breaks particularly for the Mallowar Racing Committee. Now, Mallowar, for those that don't know, is 80 kilometres west of Moree. And during this time of year, the northwest of New South Wales hosts a series of picnic races day, one in Moree, one in Mallowar, and one, it's called Talmoy, but it's out near Garra. And it's a very, very big part of the community. Mallowar has now had its race meeting cancelled, which was due to be held tomorrow. This is the second time in 2 years. But the most upsetting part and difficult part for the club is this was the first year people weren't going to be allowed to take their own eskies onto the racetrack. So Mallowar Race Club, which is a tiny little race club, there's no town in Mallowar. There's farms and
You lived in that area, didn't you, at one stage?
I did. I lived about 5 k's from the racetrack, so I know exactly where it is, and I'd like to give it a vouch and say it was the best race day of the season. Great committee. But they've now got $50,000 worth of alcohol that's just going to sit there and lie on the cost of the books of the Mallowar Racing Club that they don't have. You know, these people have been so selfish in what they've done to these towns. But I would like to acknowledge the Moree community that I've spoken to. They are out there in droves getting tested. The testing's available from 9 till 3. They're sitting in their warm cars. Yes, there might be a bit of a queue, but we've got these amazing people up there who are standing in the freezing cold taking those tests, so we really should acknowledge them. They're away from their friends and their family, all because, you know, these selfish people decided to just keep driving through. We know that the woman stopped in Dubbo and visited the pharmacy, so potentially she was showing symptoms back then, but yet continued on destroying the livelihoods of people in these communities as we come into a long weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. There was some whinging going on in Moree about a lack of test kits. But I saw some long lines today of people getting the tests.
Look, there's long lines because as they're processing the tests and going through, they're running from 9 to 3 because they need to get the tests on a plane to go and get them tested. The laboratories are working 24 hours a day to make sure people are getting text messages, I think, overnight once those tests leave Moree just after 3 p.m. They did go a little bit longer yesterday. There was some false reporting that somehow or other they had run out of tests. I've personally spoken to Lavity Pathology. That's not the case.
Right.
They sent up more than enough tests for the entire town. So we need to make sure, and they are, getting out there, get tested so we can get Moree open again.
Yeah.
And all the other towns.
Just quickly on the sub announcement today, without going into the detail, gee, what a difference a minister makes.
Look, the Collins class sub, I got to sleep on one for a couple of nights only 3 weeks ago. They are an amazing piece of machinery and they're a vital part of our defence system. And, you know, people don't understand the difference between diesel and nuclear. It's kind of like when you talk to people about COVID and then before that the bushfires. They were one stage bushfire and land management experts and the next they were epidemiologists. It's wonderful to see the defence and submariner commentary today.
Yeah.
But the diesel subs, the Collins class, play an incredible vital role in the defence of our region and work incredibly closely with the nuclear subs that other countries have, and they perform different roles. So it's good to see that the Collins are going to have their life extended. They're a very, very impressive piece of machinery,
okay.
And they are making a significant contribution to our entire region.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Chris.
Senator Holly Hughes. All right, Brisbane.